So let me share my screen.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
I said I was. Let me share my screen.
Okay. Also, are we recording this as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, good. Let's do a quick review of what we did last lesson. In our last lesson, we looked at how to calculate the slope between 2 points. And the slope between 2 points. We said that the formula to calculate the slope between 2 points m is given by y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. That's the formula. Now, if they give you 2 points to calculate your slope, for example, point 5 and 3 and point 2 and negative 3, you are going to label your points because I told you that every point has two coordinates, an x coordinate and a y coordinate. So we'll have here the x coordinate, y coordinate, x coordinate, y coordinate. For the first point, this will be x1, y1. Second point, this will be x2, y2. So then we're just going to plug these values into the formula to obtain our value for the slope. So our answer here will have minus 3 for y2 minus 3 for y1 divided by 2 for x2 minus 5 for x1. So you will get minus 3 minus 3 is minus 6 divided by 2 minus 5 is minus 3, and 6 divided by minus 6 divided by minus 3 will give you 2. So your slope for the 2 points is 2. I think that was clear.
Yeah.
Great.
I do have a question.
Yes.
What's something that you recommend me to do in order to remember the formula for the test?
To remember the formula, you have to write it out many times.
Okay.
As every time you solve the question, write down the formula. Every time I give you an
Okay.
exercise to solve, write it down. Every time I give you an exercise to solve, write it down. As you are repeatedly writing down the formula, it will stick.
Okay.
All right. So today, what I want us to do is let's get back to the sheet that you shared.
And she has worksheets. I'm sure I can find something like a worksheet to continue to go over this. Or I
Sorry.
have a workbook. I said she has worksheets for like each section that we go through. So I'm
If she
sure.
has that, then it would be nice for us to have it so we can work on each section more in depth.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So I'll see if I can find it.
Now, the last class, I mentioned that uh, there are many ways of writing a mathematical equation for a straight line. And one of the ways that I introduced you to was y equals to mx plus c. in this equation they call this equation the slope-intercept form. There's another form that looks like this: ax plus by equals to c. Ax plus by equals to c. They call this the standard form. Now, in the lesson of today, what I want to do is that I want to teach you how to calculate or how to find, sorry, the intercept of a line from the equation of a line. Like they can give you an equation either in this form or in this form, and ask you to find the intercept of the line. It could be an x-intercept or the y-intercept. Okay?
You said
This,
that I will have to find the intercept of a line.
yes. Finding the
Okay.
intercept of a line from the equation of the line. This
Finding
is what you see, for example, in the exam, in your review worksheet, question one. That question one is what we're doing right now.
question one.
Yes.
Okay.
Question one is use the x and y intercept to graph the equation for x minus 8y equals to 24. Now, even
Mm-hmm.
before we graph that, we have to find the intercept. What I want to teach you now is how to find the intercept. Then I can teach you how to graph after. So right now,
Oh,
let's do how to find the intercept from the equation of a straight line.
to find the intercept from the what?
From the equation of a straight line. How to find the
From
intercept from the equation of a straight line.
equation of a straight.
So we're going to
Hold
see two.
on one second. I'll be right back. Okay, yeah. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine.
Okay, so how to find the intercept from the equation of a straight line?
Yes. There are two forms of the equation that we're going to be seeing here. There is this form, which is the slope-intercept form, and there is this form, which is the standard form. There are other forms, but basically we'll use these two forms. So let's take an example. If they give you a straight line such as this, y is equals to 2x plus 1. Now, if you compare this to the two equations I gave you up, you will see that it looks like the slope-intercept form, right?
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
You said those two up there, the y equals mx plus c and ax plus by equals c. What are those? Are those forms that I will be studying?
Those are the mathematical representation of a straight line. I think
Okay.
that I mentioned this first one already twice in our previous class and the class before our previous class. Do you remember?
Um, I don't think I would remember the way that you put it.
In the previous class, I wrote it the same. In that class, I told you that in this form, or in this expression, or in this equation, m here is the slope. Remember? And when I wrote
Yeah,
this, I taught you what the slope was. I taught you how to find the slope,
which is the middle, right?
which is the what?
The middle.
The middle of what?
Is it the like the middle of the plane?
No. We said the slope is the degree of inclination of a line, or how much a line is slanted.
Oh, okay.
We did that just today.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier as well.
Yes, this is what I did even here to review. What I was calculating here was the slope. Okay? So this form here, so in the equation for this, the example I just wrote right now, that means that here, m here is 2. So the slope of this line is 2. That's just a side note. Because if you compare this to the equation I wrote above, this is y equals to mx plus c. So if I'm comparing the two, m here equals to, I can say here m equals to 2 here, and c equals to
Mhm.
y. It's equals to 1. Can you see it?
Yes, I see. You're saying that two two is M and one is C.
Yes, like this. If you compare the two equations. The general way of writing it is like this. It's like this. Y is equals to mx plus c. So now, in this y equals to mx plus c, m can be anything, c can be anything. But in the specific example that I just took here, m is 2 and c is 1.
Okay.
So in this example, how do you find the intercept? To find the intercept of a line, we had y equals to 2x plus 1. You are going to consider two situations. The two situations you are going to consider is if, or when rather, x equals to 0. When x equals to 0, you're going to find the y-intercept. Now, when x equals to 0, what happens is that you will block wherever you see x in the equation above 0. So I'll have 2y equals to 2 into 0 plus 1. So y here will be equals to 0 plus 1, and that will give me y to be 1. That means that my first intercept is 0, 1. And this 0, 1 is here is the y-intercept. This is the y-intercept. Why is it the y-intercept? Because this information tells us that the line, this line here, will cut. Remember what's an intercept? It cuts the y-axis at the point 1. It cuts the y-axis at the point 0, 1. Now, let me try to represent that on a Cartesian plane. You understand what I'm talking about? All right? Let's take an example. Nicolette, are you following?
Yes.
Let's take an example of this Cartesian plane. This y-axis, this is x-axis, this is 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, if they ask you to find the point 0, 1, I'll use the red ink to represent the point 0, 1. 0 on the x-axis will just be, if I take my ruler and draw a vertical line on 0, it will be like this. You agree? A line that passes through 0. You
You said
agree?
it would if they asked us to write a straight line.
If they ask us to find the point 0, 1, the first lesson that I taught you was how to find a point on the Cartesian plane. Remember? Or we'll find the intersection between the x coordinate and the y coordinate.
I don't know why I thought you would have to do it horizontal because you're finding x first.
X at x is vertical and y is horizontal. So for y equals to 1, you're going to draw a horizontal line like this. You're going to draw a horizontal line. So you'll see where the two lines, the vertical and the horizontal meet, will be here. Can you see it?
Yeah. You
I
said
did this in the
x.
very first lesson with you, how to plot a point on a Cartesian plane. If you can go there into your notes, you'll find that. I said if they give
I
you
did
a point, for example, 2, 3, if they give you a point 2, 3,
this vertical and
and they say find a point 2, 3 on a Cartesian plane, that means here you're getting 2 on the x-axis and 3 on the y-axis. So if this is my 3, this is my 2, this is my 3, then I'll have to draw a vertical line on the x-axis at 2, exactly at 2, and a horizontal line on the y-axis at 3. Where the two lines meet would be my point 2, 3. This is it. This is where they meet here. Let me put it in red. This is where they meet here.
can you show me another example of that? Because I'm so confused because what I'm used to doing is just finding the numbers that we're supposed to find, put the dots on it, but you're showing me how to find the points and how to make them touch.
I'm reviewing the
Oh,
first lesson
oh,
we had. Right
no,
now,
I
I'm
think we
reviewing the first lesson. I'm not doing today's lesson. I'm reviewing first lesson. Let me try
yes,
again. Let me show you again. Let's
I
take another
understand that.
example. Let's say, for example, they ask you to plot the point B, which is negative 2 and 1. All right? Plot the
Hmm.
point B, which is negative 2 and 1. Let me draw my Cartesian plane. I'll have here negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, 1, 2, negative, negative 3, 1, 2, 3, 1,
I
2, 3. This is my y-axis, my x-axis. Now, they asked me to plot the point B, which is negative 2 and 1. I know that B has an x coordinate. Every point has an x coordinate and a y coordinate, right?
yeah.
We said that the first on our first lesson. Every point has two coordinates, an x coordinate and a y coordinate. So now, how do I plot the first coordinate, which is the x coordinate? I will go on the x axis where I get 2, and I'll draw a straight line on 2. I'll draw a straight line like this on 2, so that it goes to a vertical line on 2. That's it. Now, How do I find or plot or the y point? Or how the y coordinate is at, no, I made a mistake, sorry. The x coordinate is at negative 2, not 2. So since it's a negative 2, I'll have to draw it on the left here. Supposed to be here. So I have to draw it rather here, like this. Now this is negative 2 this way. Now the y coordinate is 1. We'll draw a horizontal line at 1. Now wherever these two lines intersect, we're going to have our point B. Now you see that they intersect here. Would you agree? Where I
Yes.
indicated my blue dot. They intersect here. The two lines meet there.
Yeah.
So where they meet will be my point B. That's how you find any point on the Cartesian plane, by intersecting the x and the y.
Okay, I do have a question
Yeah.
because I understand how to find it and everything like that. I think what's confusing me is that when we're on when when we're doing it on the thing that she has us online or whether we're in class or something, it's already she said she'll be giving us a graph paper, which means we wouldn't have to do that, right?
You wouldn't have to draw like this. You will just have to follow the lines. The lines are already on the graph paper. The lines are already drawn.
Yeah.
You
I
wouldn't have
think
to
that's
draw
what
the
I'm
lines that
used
I'm drawing here.
I think that's what I'm used to doing
Yes,
because
you
so
just have
that's why
to
I'm confused.
follow the lines up and follow the lines horizontally. That is why I
Yeah,
use broken lines, because you can follow the lines in your mind. If you follow the lines up, the vertical line at negative 2 and the horizontal line, wherever they meet, is your point. What's
yeah,
important is not the lines I drew right now. What's important is the blue point that I have here, the point B.
yeah. I think I'm just confused about because how you're saying how we're supposed to write the lines and stuff. I think that's just confusing me. But I do understand
You said you're confused about what?
how you were saying how we're supposed to like use the ruler with the line and everything because I'm used to having the lines already there and
I'm using a
we
ruler because I don't have the graph on my paper. If I draw it with my hand, it will be crooked.
yeah, I understand that, but I'm just saying that's why I was confused.
All right. A graph paper already has lines like drawn like this. It already has lines drawn. They are already drawn all across. They are drawn all across. You can just use the lines that are already drawn to trace and find the point. Is that fine?
Yep,
All right. So I can take this off. So I'd like to return to, this is a good opportunity to review a point. I'd like to return to finding the intercept of a straight line. And I said that the equation of a straight line is given in this form here, y equals to mx plus c. And I gave an example of such equation. This is an example of a straight line where you know the value of m, which is your slope, and the value of c, which is your y-intercept, right?
okay,
Now,
I do have a question.
yes,
Is the y mx plus c, is that the formula for a straight line?
it is the expression, it is the way we mathematically represent a line. You can say formula, it's fine to say formula,
Okay,
yes. So from this, to find the y-intercept, you have to set this condition. You have to set x to be 0. So when x is 0, you put 0 in your equation, you find y, and y gives us 1. That means that the y-intercept occurs at this point, 0, 1. Now, to find the x-intercept, you do the same thing. You will set when y is equals to 0. If y is equals to 0, you will put it again in the equation. The equation is y equals to 2x plus 1. So you'll put 0 wherever you find y, and you'll get 0 is equals to 2x plus 1. Now what you do is that to find x, you are going to subtract 1 on both sides of the equation. When you subtract 1 on both sides of the equation, you will see that this here will cancel each other, and you'll be left with minus 1 is equals to 2x. Then you can divide both sides by 2. You're going to have, this is separate, let me put this separate. You're going to have minus 2, or let's say minus 1 divided by 2 is equals to 2x divided by 2. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
It's like I'm writing, but it's not appearing.
I see minus 1 equals 2x plus 9 subtracted by 9. That's the last
No, it's
one
not
I'm
9.
seeing.
That's not 9. That's 1.
Oh,
That's 1. That's not 9. Let me try to share my screen again. I don't know why it's frozen. Can you see now?
yes.
Okay, I'll take this off since you didn't see how I got here. I said this. We were at minus 1 equals to 2x plus 1 minus 1, right? Because I said you will subtract 1 on both sides of the equation to get rid of this one. So you're going to have minus 1 equals to 2x because 1 minus 1 is 0. Then you can divide both sides of the equation by 2. You have minus 1 divided by 2 is equals to 2x divided by 2. This will cancel with this. 2 will cancel with 2. And you have minus half is equals to x. That means that you're going to have the coordinate, the x coordinate here as minus half, and the y coordinate as 0. So this now will be your x-intercept. We're getting a little bit more into the algebra. So minus half and 0 will be your x-intercept.
Okay. I think we'll have to go over that again
Yes, that's
from
fine.
the beginning.
Let me try another example, okay?
Okay.
I'll take a completely different example.
Yeah. All I understand is that we have a formula for the straight line. That's all I understand so far. Everything else I don't understand.
All right? I was saying this. Let me take an example. Let me try to represent a line, a straight line here on Cartesian plane. Then I'll explain something.
Okay.
This is, let's say, for example, um, let's say this is a line on our Cartesian plane. All right.
Yeah.
And if they tell you that the point here, this is, let's say this is point one, this is point two, this is point one, this is point two. All right. This is point, let's say three, point three also here. Now, for this line, the line cuts the Cartesian plane at how many points?
Two.
At 2 points. That means that on this line has two intercepts, correct?
Yes.
Now, the first intercept, it cuts the axis y at 2, right? This is the first
But the
intercept
yeah.
here, and this is the second
Yep.
intercept here. The first intercept is at 2, and on the x-axis, the second intercept is also at 2, right?
Yes.
Now, you have to understand that at the point where the y-axis meets with the line, at this point, there is a point here. There is a point there, meaning that that point has a coordinate. It has an x coordinate and a y coordinate. That means that if they ask you
Okay.
to find that point on the Cartesian plane, you need an x coordinate and a y coordinate. Any point, every point on the Cartesian coordinate has an x coordinate and a y coordinate.
So you said when they ask us to find a point?
Yes. What I was saying is this. When two lines meet, they meet at a certain point, correct?
Yes.
That point has an x coordinate and a y coordinate. That's what I'm saying. Where they meet,
Okay.
it has an x. Remember that I told you that every point has an x coordinate and a y coordinate.
Yes.
Now, let's study a little bit something about the intercept here. I want you to notice something. You will notice that here, the x coordinate is 0 and the y coordinate is 2. That
Yes.
means that
Yep.
the vertical line that needs to intersect with the horizontal line, the vertical line passes at 0, while the horizontal line passes at 2 to get the point where the red line meets with the black line.
Yeah, but you're only saying 0 to 2 because it's just 1 point on the y line, right?
Remember that this is x here and this is y, correct?
Yes.
For every point. Now, you are okay that y is 2 because the line cuts the y-axis at 2, right?
Yes.
Now, why do I say that x is 0? X is 0 because to get the point at which the two lines meet, you need an x-axis, an x coordinate, and a y coordinate. Now, the x coordinate is a vertical line that goes up to meet the horizontal line that passes at 2.
Did you say the x coordinate or the y?
The x coordinate. See what I'm talking about? This, or let me explain this with another point, then I'll shift the analogy here. Let's take an example of, let's say this is, let me draw another Cartesian plane. So I'll put here 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I'll just draw this line in blue. Let me just draw this line in blue so that you'll be able to find yourself when you start thinking about it. Now, the blue lines should, in your mind, should be just lines that are on your graph paper, okay?
Yeah.
Now, let's say your graph paper is in blue. Now, if I put a point here in red, I put a point, let's say here. Can you see my point in red?
Yeah.
If I ask you the coordinate of that point, the coordinate is give me the x and the y coordinate of a point because I told you that a point has two coordinates, the x coordinate and the y coordinate. Every point
Mm.
has two coordinates, the x coordinate and the y coordinate. Now, if I ask you the red point that I indicated here, what is its, uh, let's say, what is the x coordinate? What is the x coordinate and what's the y coordinate of this point?
Well, the x coordinate will be 2 and the y would be 3.
Excellent. Let me indicate another point. If I put a point here, what is the x coordinate and the y coordinate?
The x coordinate will be 3 and the y would be 3.
Will be
No, would be 1.
1. Excellent. It's the same thing like if they ask you to plot the point 3, 1, you're going to draw a red dot there. How do you find 3, 1? How do you know it was 1? Because in your mind, you drew a horizontal line to link up to 1.
Yes.
And how do you find it was 3? You drew a vertical line that passes through the red point. And you
Yes.
found the number that it corresponds to, correct?
Yep.
Now, if I put that point now here, if I put that point here, what's your coordinate there?
It would be 0, 3.
Excellent. So this point has an x coordinate 0 and a y coordinate 3, right?
Yes.
Good. Now let's go back up here. If I have a point of intersection here, let's say a point of intersection where I have a green dot here. My green dots. What is the coordinate of this green dot here?
0 and 2.
No, it's
2
x
and
coordinate
0.
first, then y coordinate. It's always x coordinate first, then y coordinate.
2 because it's on the x line and 0.
So it's 2 and 0. You are getting it? So the coordinate here is 2 and 0, and the other coordinate is 0 and 2. You agree?
Yes.
Very good. Now, what we were trying to do when we're finding the intercept was to find the coordinate when the line touches an axis. So what I was trying to teach you right now, when you said you didn't understand anything, was to find these two green points. Now, to make sure you understood, let me do another example. Let me draw this Cartesian plane here, and I will graduate. Let's say I'll graduate like this. It's like you work better with. So in blue is your graph paper. Okay.
Okay.
Next time I'll make sure we get a suitable graphic paper in class so that we can avoid doing this. All right, good. Now, I will represent here, this is my y-axis, this is my x-axis. Now, I'll put here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. In red, I'll indicate points and I want you to give me their coordinates. All right?
Okay.
This is my point A. This is my point B. This is my point C. This is my point D. This is my point F. Now, can I have the coordinates of each of those points?
Yeah.
You go in
For
alphabetical order, or just go from A, B, C, D, then E.
okay. For A, it is 2, 4.
Correct?
For B, it is for B, it is 2 and negative 2.
Correct?
For C, it is negative 1 and 1.
Negative 1
Negative,
and negative 1.
yeah. And for D, it is 0 and 2.
Correct?
For E, it is negative 2 and 1.
Correct. Excellent. Now, I'll take off this point because I need to use this graph again. Now, what I'll do is that I'll draw a line. That line will touch the axis at 2 points. Wherever they touch the axis, I want you to give me the coordinate. Okay?
Okay.
I'll draw two lines. This is my first line. You give me the coordinates on this line. And this is my second line. I've drawn two lines. My first line is in red. My second line is in green. Now, for the first line, you agree that it has 2 points at which it cuts the Cartesian plane. It cuts on the x and it cuts on the y, right?
Y- yeah.
Now, can you give me the coordinate where it cuts the x-axis?
I do have a question.
Yes.
For each of the points that's on the red line, it has two coordinates, right?
Every point has two coordinates, not just in the red line. Every point on the Cartesian plane has two coordinates.
Okay. So for for the first one,
Yeah.
I would say it is 0 and negative 2.
Mm, 0 and negative 2. Okay. Are you talking about this one?
Yes.
Correct. 0 and negative 2 is correct.
Okay. And for the second one, I would say it's negative 3 and 0.
Correct. What about the second one?
I would say it's 2 and 0.
Okay.
And for the other one, I would say it's 0 and 4.
Now, there's something I want you to notice about what you just gave me. The answers are very correct. That is very good. I want you to notice that whenever we talk about where a line cuts the y-axis, and where it cuts the y-axis, the x-coordinate is always 0. Have you noticed it?
Yeah.
For example, if you look here, if you look here, and you look here, you see that the x-axis is always 0. The x-coordinate is always 0. You'll agree?
Yeah.
Wherever a line cuts the y-axis, the x-coordinate is always 0.
Okay.
I repeat,
Wherever.
wherever the line cuts the y-axis, the x-coordinate is always 0. That we know for sure. We may not know at what point it cuts on the y-x-axis, but we know that the x-coordinate will always be 0. You agree?
Yes.
Now, the next thing that we know is that wherever a line cuts the x-axis, the y-coordinate is always 0.
Wherever a line crosses the
The x-axis,
x-axis.
the y-coordinate is always 0. Can you see the y-coordinate here being 0? This is the y-coordinate. Let me change this. This is the y-coordinate here. 0, you get me 0 here. You also get me 0 here.
Yes.
Whenever the line cuts the x-axis, the y-coordinate is always 0. And whenever the line cuts the y-axis, the x-axis is always 0.
Yeah, I see that.
So that means that, remember that all the 4 points that you gave me here, all of them are intercepts. You agree? Because all of them cut an axis. We said an intercept is where a line cuts through an axis. All the 4 points you gave me are intercepts.
Yeah.
All right. So we have 4 intercepts. And what do you notice about the y-intercept? At the y-intercept, when you say y-intercept, it means where the line cuts the y-axis. Whenever the line cuts the y-axis, the x-coordinate is always 0. And on the x-intercept, that is, wherever the line cuts the x-axis, the coordinate is always, for the y-coordinate is always 0.
And you said a intercept is when a line cuts
An axis,
a. Okay.
when a line cuts an axis. So what we've done here, is it clear?
Yes. So two of the lines are intercepts.
Sorry, both two of the lines have two intercepts. Both lines have two intercepts.
Both lines.
The green line, this is the first intercept of the green line, and this is the second intercept of the green line.
Oh, okay. So
This is the
both
first
lines have.
intercept of the red line, and this is the second intercept of the red line.
Oh, okay.
You'll agree with that?
Yes.
So each line, because it cuts the axis at 2 points, it cuts the y-axis, then it cuts the x-axis. Both of them have two intercepts. All right. The next thing I want to say right now, or I want to say is that now what we want to do is that we want to use the information that we just had in order to find intercept without drawing these lines. Like if they ask you to find the intercept you just gave me without drawing all of this, it's possible to do it without drawing. Okay?
Okay.
How is that possible? Follow keenly. Let's say they give you the line, the equation, the mathematical equation for a line. Let's say that line y equals to 2x plus 1, the case that we saw earlier. All right?
Yeah.
Now, this line has probably an x and y intercept. We don't know, but we can find it. Now, we'll say here x intercept. Here we'll say y intercept. Remember what I told you about the x-intercept? I told you that on the x-intercept, the y-coordinate is always,
On the X,
on the x-intercept, the y-coordinate is always
0.
0. So to find the x-coordinate, you have to say y equals to 0. That you know for sure. It is always 0. But for the y-intercept, you see that the x-coordinate is always
0.
0. So for the y-intercept, x has to be 0. You accept. You accept this?
Yes.
Then if y is 0, you're going to put this 0 into the equation you have above. You'll have to plug it into the equation. The equation is y is equal to 2x plus 1. If we plug 0 when we find y, we're going to have 0 is equal to 2x plus 1, right?
Y equals 2x plus 1. So it's 0 equals 2x plus 1.
So we have replaced y with 0 because we said y equals to 0.
Yes.
Are you okay up to this point?
Yeah.
Now we have to find x. How do we find x? The first thing is that we are going to subtract 1 on the right side of the equation, and we subtract also 1 on the left side of the equation because we want to get rid of everything around x so that x can be alone. So
Yes.
I'm going to have here minus 1 because we are subtracting 0 minus 1 is just minus 1 equals to 2x plus 1 minus 1. We know that 1 minus 1 will give you 0. So you have minus 1 is equals to 2x. Are you okay at this point?
Yes.
Are you okay at this point?
Yeah.
Okay. Now what we can do is that we can divide both sides by half to remove the 2 from the x. If we divide both sides by 2, we'll have minus 1 divided by 2 is equals to 2x divided by 2. Now, this will cancel with this. We'll be left with x on the right side of the equation. That means that x equals to minus 1 over 2. Do you agree with this?
Yes.
Now, Nicolette, we have found the x value of the x-intercept, meaning that the x-intercept for the equation that was given to us is negative half and 0. This is that intercept. We said that at the x-intercept, y is always 0, but we don't know x. To find x, we put the y equals to 0 in the equation y equals to 2x plus 1. Then we got x to be equal to minus half. So the coordinate of the x-intercept, meaning where the line cuts the x-axis, is negative half and 0. Is that understood?
Yes.
We can do the same thing now for the y-axis, for the y-intercept. For the y-intercept, x equals to 0. We're going to put it in the equation y equals to 2x plus 1. So wherever we see x, we put a 0. So we have y equals to 2 into 0 plus 1.
Y equals to 2 times 0.
Now, 2 times 0 is 0. So we have y equals to 0 plus 1, right? So 0
Yeah.
plus 1 is 1. So your the y coordinate is 1. Therefore, the y-intercept will be
1.
0 and 1. So it will be 0 and 1. So now
Nice.
you see that this line, look, Nicolette, this line has two intercepts. It has an x-intercept of negative half and 0, and a y-intercept of 0 and 1. It has an x-intercept of negative half and 0, and a y-intercept of 0 and 1.
Yeah.
Is this clear?
Yeah.
Now we are out of time. If not, we'll have done a second example. But I think we can do that the next class.
Okay. Do you have to go, or can we stay for 20 more minutes?
For
Or
20
you
minutes,
have to go? Yeah.
we can stay for 30 minutes to complete the extra 30 minutes that we've done already.
Um.
Usually, the
Okay.
minimum amount of time I do with a student is an hour, not just 30 minutes. If you do less
Okay.
than an hour, I will have to count that as a lesson, like a full hour. If you do 20 minutes, I have to count it as a full hour. But we already
Okay.
did 1 hour, 30 minutes last time. So we
Uh-huh.
can add 30 more minutes. And so we can complete the hanging 30 minutes. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Give me 1 second. Let me just see something really quick.
Now, before we try another example, I would like to quickly review what we just did. From this graph, I drew through two lines, and these two lines were lines that were cutting the x-axis and the y-axis. Both of them were cutting the x-axis and the y-axis. Now, I asked you to give me the coordinates where the lines cut each axis, and you did that successfully. That was very good. Then I told you that let's notice something about the coordinates that you gave me. And we both saw that whenever a line will cut a y-axis, at the point it's cutting a y-axis, x coordinate will always be 0. And you can see that for the point for the green line, you can see the y coordinate is 0, 4. Sorry, the point at which the line cuts the axis is 0, 4. That point has a coordinate of 0, 4. You see the x coordinate is 0 and the y coordinate is 4. If you go on the red line, you'll see that you have here, I'm talking about these 2 points, okay?
Yeah.
You have 0, 4 and 0, negative 2. For both of those points, you can see that the x coordinate is always 0. So we understand that whenever a line it cuts the y-axis, the coordinate for x will always be 0. Now, similarly, whenever a line cuts the x-axis like here, okay, the y-coordinate is always 0. Now, I use that principle to help us to find coordinates or intercept, the coordinates of intercept, without having to draw, like going on a graph every time. So, an example of equation that I gave you was this equation, y equals to 2x plus 1. This is an example of a straight line, okay? Now, we can find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Remember, we said that on the x-intercept, the y-coordinate is always 0, and on the y-intercept, the x coordinate is always 0. So if you have y to be 0 and you plug it into the equation of the straight line, y equals 2x plus 1, you can find the value of x. We did that. We found the value of x to be negative a half. That means that the coordinate of the x-intercept is negative a half and 0. We did the same thing for the y-intercept. We said every time a line cuts the y-axis, x coordinate is always 0. So we said x equals to 0. So we put 0 in the equation for y equals to 2x plus 1 wherever we found x. So this gave us a y value of 1. So that means that the coordinate of our y-intercept was 0 and 1. We had those two coordinates. Now I have to try a new example of how to find the coordinates of a straight line. I'll give another example of a straight line, then together we'll find the coordinates of the intercept.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
So we're going to try this equation. Y is equals to minus 2x plus 3. This is another equation of a line. Y equals to minus 2x plus 3. So x-intercept, y-intercept. We
Is
know
this
that for
just
the
a different?
x-intercept, the value of y is always 0. Do you agree?
Yes.
And for the y-intercept, the value of x is always 0. Do you agree?
Yes.
Now, for the x-intercept, let's now go forward to find the other coordinate of the x-intercept by plugging or replacing y in the equation. The equation is y equals to minus 2x plus 3. So when we find y, we put a 0. We're going to have 0 is equals to minus 2x plus 3. Now, we can subtract 3 on both sides of the equation. We're going to have 0 minus 3 is equals to minus 2x plus 3 minus 3. 0 minus 3 will give you minus 3 is equals to 3 minus 3 will give you 0. You're going to have minus 2x. Now, you are going to divide both sides of the equation by minus 2 to get rid of the minus 2 that is multiplying x because we need x. So we're going to have 3 over minus 2 is equals to minus 2x over minus 2. This will cancel with this. So we're going to be left with 3 over 2. So x, this also will cancel with this. X will give us 3 over 2. That means that the coordinate for the x-intercept is 3 over 2 and 0. Now, we can go forward to find the coordinate of the y-intercept. Wherever you have the y-intercept, x equals to 0. So in the equation of the straight line, y equals to minus 2x plus 3. Wherever we find x, we put a 0. So y will be equals to minus 2. We put a 0 when we have x plus 3. We know that anything multiplied by 0 is 0. So we're going to have y is equals to 2 times 0, which is 0, plus 3. And therefore, y here will be equals to 3. So we have the y coordinate. So the point of the y-intercept will be 0 and 3. Now,
Okay.
this is your
Um.
y-intercept and this is your x-intercept.
Okay. Caleb, I think we're gonna have to end it here because it's some stuff going on in my house. But thank you so much, and I'll just pay you for the extra 30 minutes because I know you did stay longer.
All right. Thank you very much. I will upload this video to my YouTube and send you the link. Is that fine?
Um. Yes. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very
You're
much.
gonna, or will you email me the link?
Yes, I will. I will.
Okay.
Also, you let me know about your next availability. Okay.
Okay. Yes, I will. Thank you.
Thank you too.